Today we're going to talk about the electronic services and resources available for FNS employees. I'm Tanya Tanner, and I'm joined by my colleagues
Wayne Thompson, hello.
And
Yee Wu.
Thank you. Let's get started. Our objectives today is to introduce you to DigiTop, to describe some search tools that are available to you, and to talk a little bit about building searches. Our agenda in the process will be to tell you a little bit about the National Agricultural Library, tell you something about DigiTop, walk through some search tools, and building searches in the process, and then wrap up. The National Agricultural Library was established in 1862 by President Lincoln with the signing of the Organic Act, which created the Department of Agriculture. That's a nice picture. Here we have a picture of the NAL new website. We launched it earlier this summer, as a matter of fact. And so we welcome you to check out our website at www.nal.usda.gov. Our customer services unit is available to assist you with answering your reference questions, as well as to assist you in doing searches for information. And here you see our email address, which is agrefquestion@libraryresearch.info. We're available on the phone at 301-504-5755, and we invite you to visit us in person here in our Beltsville location. NAL also has 7 specialized information centers. Of course, you recognize food and nutrition. We also have water quality, animal welfare, alternative farming systems, food safety, invasive species, and rural. So having given you that quick overview, we welcome you to DigiTop. And what is DigiTop? DigiTop is a service of the National Agricultural Library that delivers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 366. We get leap year in there. Access to users wherever you are, whenever you need it. It's hosted, managed, and maintained by the National Agricultural Library and is cooperatively funded by agencies within USDA that include, of course, the National Agricultural Library, the Agricultural Research Service, the Animal Plant Health Inspection Service, the Economic Research Service, the Food Safety Inspection Service, Foreign Agriculture Service, Forest Service, National Institute for Food and Agriculture, and Natural Resources Conservation Service. From the NAL homepage, you'll notice almost in the center of the page the link to access DigiTop. Once you access that link, you'll be transported to the DigiTop homepage. And on the DigiTop homepage, you'll notice we have several points of contact for us. In the upper right corner, you have the Contact Us button. Then coming down under I Want To, an opportunity to ask us a question in case there's something that you didn't or aren't quite clear on. You can ask us a question. And certainly not least is the Suggest a Resource or Database. After you have used DigiTop and you found that there's something that you would find beneficial to you and your colleagues, here is where you would suggest that resource to us. And if and when funding becomes available, we will do our best to see if we can get that resource for you.
Also, this is a good place when you need, sometimes you may have trouble accessing certain resources or journals because we deal with a lot of publishers and everything's kind of based on IP ranges of our computers at USDA, and sometimes these may get messed up, or not frequently, but every once in a while they may. So you may not have access to something you think you should, and you should let us know, and we will research it and make sure you get your access back to you.
The DigiTop terms of use pretty much follow those agreements whenever you log into a federal computer. So we just want you to be mindful that that does exist, and know that it is subject to monitoring. Resources available through DigiTop include databases, full-text journals, directories, newspapers, electronic books, and the Economist Intelligence Unit, and we'll go into detail on these as we progress through the webinar. DigiTop databases include, but are not limited to, Agricola, Food Science and Technology Abstracts, Biosis, including the archives back to 1926, Tab Abstracts with archives to 1910, PubMed, and Scopus. Scopus is the largest single database that we hold a subscription to, at least for now. But Scopus allows users to search using document search, an advanced search, an author search, and an affiliation search that enables you to search by organization, so that if you're looking to add someone to a panel and you want to look at how that institution is publishing and producing information, you can search by the affiliation. It also allows for alerts that come weekly or monthly, and provides author evaluation tools such as the H-Index. DigiTop Navigator is a platform currently comprised of 13 unique databases. It too allows for searching in forms of a simple kind of Google-like search, an advanced search, and an expert search. It also allows you to have weekly, monthly alerts to come along, and enables users to have citation management. Our natural sciences collection is a fairly new database to the DigiTop resources. It does searching with document search, advanced search, and an author search. And it has 9 topic databases, which are comprised of several smaller databases in the process. And at last count, when you search the natural sciences collection, if you include all the major databases and the sub-databases, you have close to 60 databases that you have access to. Our journal coverage, we have more than 7,000 electronic journal titles, and some of those that have been selected just as an example for you, topics in clinical nutrition. When you look at the journal's portal, you'll see a small statement that lets you know what the coverage through DigiTop is and what you have access to. So, for example, topics in clinical nutrition, we have coverage beginning in 2002 to the present through journals at Ovid Full Text. When you see the journals at Ovid Full Text, that is actually a link to the publisher's page for that specific journal, so that you don't have to go to the publisher's site and then search for the journal. It's actually a link to the publisher's page for that journal.
Most of the journals that all the journals we have linked them to the database searches. So when you do a search in one of the various databases that we have, and you locate an article that you would like to look at, we put those up to the electronic journal, so there will be a link, and we'll show you this later, but there'll be a link actually to the article. So what Tanya was talking about, this portal, is a way to go and look up the actual what journals we have and the coverage, and you can link to the particular journal. But when you're doing searches in the databases, it will also link you directly to the article.
If we have a
license for that article, journal, yes.
We also include news sources to help you stay current with what's happening in the news. We offer NewsBank, which gives you access to a little over 4,400 newspapers and news sources around the world, as well as 106 magazines. We also have the Economist.com, we have Financial Times, and ViewsWire. And as we go through, as time permits, we'll walk you through a brief search in NewsBank just to see how it works. And many of our resources, as well as the publisher sites, offer alerts. Alerts allow you to stay informed and up to date. The beauty of it is that once you find that perfect search, regardless of the resource, if the alert service is available, you can set it so that the information comes to you periodically in the time frame that you desire. Newspapers allow you to do it daily, but most of the databases allow you to do it weekly or monthly. You can track authors and or subjects, and many of our resources offer the RSS feed that update when the database itself is updated.
And this is something you would do as you find a resource that you like or a journal. You'll set up the alerts yourself. We can help you if you need any help in terms of setting up search strategies for that, but it's a pretty straightforward process. Each publisher has the ability to allow you to do that, but you would do that yourself. The National Agricultural Library, we also offer a document delivery service, and so any material that you can't find electronically online via DigiTop, you can make a request for us to try to locate it for you and lend you a book or proceedings or whatnot, or also we can make photocopies. We'll scan these copies and post them to a website of any articles that you may want. We have a turnaround time of 2 days. A lot of times we'll fill them the same day. If we actually own the particular journal or book, we'll be able to fill it for you right away. And like I said, if it's not in our collection, we'll still go out and we'll borrow it or buy it from other libraries or other sources. And we have several ways of getting that material to you. Most people now are liking it to be emailed or posted to a website, a scanned PDF copy of it, which we can do. And there's 4 ways that you can submit your request, and the first one, DigiTop. So as you're searching in your databases and you see an article that you like and it's not available electronically, you haven't licensed that journal and you can't get it, there will be a link there that you'll just simply click on that and it'll ask you to log in and it'll pre-populate a form and you submit the request to us. And there is information on our website about how do you get a patron ID to do that. You will need an ID to do that, but you can do it online. You can also submit requests to Agricola, our online database. Google Scholar, we're hooked into the Google Scholar, so if it's not available electronically, you can submit a document delivery request. And we just have a blank web form also. If you know exactly what you want, you can open that up and type in the citation information.
So having talked about what DigiTop is and what we have available in DigiTop, let's talk about using the resource. And as we go through the databases, what we'll do is actually demonstrate the steps to building your search pyramid rather than just walking you through it. Let's go live with that and see how it works. As we told you, from the National Agricultural Library homepage, you'll see the access to DigiTop. You'll also see access to DigiTop Navigator. And as Wayne mentioned, you can request to borrow materials directly from the NAL homepage if you're not in one of the databases. And submit articles. It's a submission form for the NAL digital collection. If you publish something in the process of your employee as a USDA employee, you can submit that article here. Now we'll go to the DigiTop homepage and the nickel tour. Immediately on the left-hand side, you'll see Search DigiTop. Please note that when you're searching DigiTop here, you are only searching the DigiTop site, not the resources, just the site. Then you'll see Browse by Type, which is a physical description of our resources. So you'll see books, which includes the CAB eBooks collection, Springer Protocols, and Wiley Protocols, journals and newspapers, databases, and directories. And then beneath that, you'll see where you can browse those resources by these topical subject areas and how those resources fit and provide information through in those subject areas. And on the extreme right, again, contact us. I want to ask a question or request library materials from this angle, suggest a resource. We also have news feeds that are comprised of articles from recent publications. These are mashups across databases in the topical areas that may be of interest to you. Cloned animals as food, food prices, and food security. For those who need to search PubMed, here you have a link that takes you directly into PubMed and tells PubMed that you are a DigiTop user, and if you find an article that is licensed by DigiTop, PubMed will give you direct access, whereas if you go directly to PubMed without going through DigiTop, you may get the button that refers you to see your librarian to get a copy. So this is just a shortcut and helpful place to be. Here in the upper right corner, you see access to full-text journals. This takes you to our eJournals portal.
This is if you want to see if we have licensed a journal, if it's available. As I said, they are hooked into the databases, but if you have a particular journal you like and you want to see if it's there, this is where you can find a journal. So when you're searching here, you're only searching for the journal. You're not actually searching for articles. But it will link you to the journal website where you then can search if you like. And
you have 3 or 4 options. You can title begins with. If you know what the title starts with, you can use that. If you have a brief title, like science, you can use just the brief word or the exact wording. Or a title contains all words and you're not sure of all the words. So if you're looking for something on just nutrition, this is what you can do, and I'll show you that in a second. And if you really, really, really love your journal, you know the ISSN, and you can search by the ISSN. And it comes back letting us know that we have 20 records that have nutrition in the title. And as we mentioned, it gives you a description of what the coverage is. For example, the journal Nutrition, we have archives from 2003 to 2006 in the ProQuest Natural Science collection. And then we pick it up again in 2009 to a 2-month embargo in the ProQuest Natural Science collection. And what the embargo means is that there's a lag of about 2 months in recency of the publication of the articles available.
Don't let this overwhelm you. This is just the nature of scholarly publishing these days, and that we have to get these journals from some directly from the publisher like Wiley-Blackwell, and we'll license all the way up to the present. And then these titles from ProQuest, that's actually ProQuest. We purchase ProQuest, and they do all the licensing, so we have no control over them. So you just have to kind of suffer through those various links and the way they break them out into archives and whatnot. Just click on the link that is in the range you want, and it'll take you to the journal page. I overthink it too much sometimes. Just click on and start clicking around the links, and you'll get there.
Yes, and don't be afraid when you see a journal that has 5 different links.
Yeah, it's just the nature of scholarly publishing these days. It's kind of really messed up in the library world. And
as we mentioned, the link takes you to the publisher's site for that journal. So here is the publisher's site for nutrition and dietetics. And you don't have to search around for the journals. You can just find the issue where many times it's on the left-hand side, but depending upon the publisher, it can be on the right-hand side. So you get to see the current issue or all issues and having access to the archive. Back to the eJournals portal. Navigator is where we should go. This is the access point for DigiTop Navigator. Navigator requires your e-authentication to be able to go in depth. You'll notice that this button bar will change once you log in. This is, as it is now, available for a very simple and quick search. So if you log in, and please bear with me as I try to remember my password.
By using the e-auth, it allows you just to use to personalize it, where we'll show you this to save searches and get alerts. But it's free. You can really search without logging in. You just won't be able to save results and searches. And if you can see that, as Tanya mentioned earlier, Navigator is a search platform, and it's searching 13 different databases at once, and the databases are listed up there on the top.
And you notice the buttons now have changed, and I have my search history, which my search history will allow me to look at the last 30 searches that I did in Navigator without having to save them. Navigator just automatically remembers. And then I have my saved searches and alerts. And what I have here is a sample search that I acquired from our colleagues in food nutrition to show you what we can do with these searches once you've created it and it has been saved. And this is the search for FNS food programs. And because it's been saved, all I have to do is click on it and it reruns the search. And it's brought us back 42 results. So we were looking at the various FNS programs and by name and by program and evaluation and education for publication year 2000, from 2012, 13, 14. Brought us back some results. And while we're here, let's look at the Navigator page, results page. Here you have the option to save, export, email, create an RSS feed, toggle the highlighting, and sort by relevance. You see here the number of results, and you can change the page length when you have a large number of results. The title is a hyperlink that expands bibliographic information about the record itself, such as which database it was drawn from, the language, and the affiliations represented in the authors. This icon immediately tells you that you have full text access through DigiTop. And just dropping down to the next one, this lets you know that we don't have a license to the publication, but it can be requested from NAL document delivery. So for the folks who are visual and just want to know at a glance, this is how you know the difference between whether or not it's available online and not.
Just on the right, I guess a lot of people are getting used to what we call facet browsing. So on the right, it's basically broken the record out by the various records by various categories, by keywords, author, year, source database, and whatnot. So you're able to quickly click on just one. If you want to limit it to a year, you can just click on it and say, just show me everything from 2014. And so you can pick several categories, but it's just a way to manipulate your search results to limit, exclude, or to allow various terms in there.
And you'll notice we have the green tag here because we did limit by those years.
Yeah.
And you can turn that off to see how many more you'll get.
And down at the bottom where it says source database, we probably should tell you that there's no duplicate records in this database. We've taken the duplicates out. So one record may have been indexed by several databases, but what we've done is take the best parts of the various databases and created one sort of master record. And we'll show you that as you see underneath the records, the abstract and keywords. Some of the databases might have an abstract and others don't, so we take the one that has the best abstract. If you click on that, it'll bring the abstract up.
And the words will be highlighted so that you'll see
where your words appeared
in the process.
And then the keywords will show you all the various keywords from the various databases, where this record was located.
And having the different keywords are also helpful when you're going through and building your search strategy, because then you see how other databases add those handles of access. For example, we may not have included guidelines in our search strategy, but if we see it often enough, we know that that may be helpful in being able to retrieve more and possibly better records. And we call it fishing, but you're actually finding those terms that are helpful to you in building your search strategy.
It's also a lot of them put in the locations, various locations. So you see under tab abstracts, Montana. Further down, tab says Western states of USA, mountain states. And so a lot of people are very interested in particular locations or locales, and that's a good thing to know, that you can try to limit some of your searching to a particular place by using those as search words.
And having done that, just to get a comparison snapshot, let's look at our search and see what happens when we apply it in another database. This is our ProQuest Natural Sciences collection. It has a lot of the same coverage, but it brings in a different perspective, and let's see what we're getting here. And so we're going to paste that search here, and we'll give it a specific date range so that we're searching 2012 through 2014. So we're playing fair.
Remember, we had 42 results from the last search in Navigator.
This brought us back 1309. One of the things that you might find helpful in using ProQuest, besides the comparison of the number of results, is the type of results. So we have 1,201 in scholarly journals. We have 69 reports and 31 trade journals. Just to kind of see how it breaks down because sometimes the trade journals and the reports are considered gray literature. So you may not get it in the major databases, but you may pick it up in some.
Navigator is just doing the scholarly journals, not the others. And it's not to say that this database, that ProQuest, is better than Scopus. What we're trying to show is that you really need to search more than just one database, that you're going to really limit your searching if you just rely on one. So numbers don't really tell the whole story. It's basically the coverage and so you want to cover as wide a range as possible.
And as Wayne explained, ProQuest makes an agreement with the publisher to provide access. So you may get a publisher-supplied PDF, or you may get a ProQuest scanned PDF, or if ProQuest doesn't have an agreement with the publisher, but DigiTop does, you'll see the link to full text so that you can still get access to the full text in your search. So having looked here, you can get a preview which includes the abstract. You get the citation abstract, the full text, or the PDF from the preview. You also have, I'm looking for one of the PDFs that don't look publisher supplied. I don't think we're going to get one. But at any rate, you still have, I would suggest, as Wayne said, comparing the results that you get, just so that you make sure that you've covered all your bases in the process. ProQuest also highlights the terms for you so that you can see them. You can also here expand the facets to sort by publication title or document type, or even by database, so you can see what your sources are in the process. Let you know which one of their databases it came from. The process of looking at the search strategy, let's look at where we are in the process of building our search. We created the search statement. We framed the topic that we wanted to investigate as a statement or question and looked at the most important subjects, and we wanted to look at nutrition programs. The search statement allowed us to clarify the relationship between the topics, and we looked at nutrition programs and we looked at food. We considered adding synonyms where we have the different names of the programs as well as nutrition programs. And we wanted to look at the purchasing behavior of consumer behavior, how they spent the money, their shopping habits, and where they were doing food purchasing or grocer, because sometimes grocer is one that most people don't think about when they're searching. And the asterisk that you see picks up any additional terms. It's like a wild card. So it might be grocer, grocers, groceries, or purchase or purchasing, buy or buying, shopping or shopper, expenditure or expenditures. And if you're looking for terms to help you out, either you can fish in the databases to pick up extra terms, or you can try using the NAL thesaurus, the National Agricultural Thesaurus. And when you look at the NALT for food purchasing, this is the description that you get. You get a scope note that tells you how this term is applied using the NAL thesaurus. The NAL thesaurus also has a glossary of over 2,500 terms that give you the agricultural meaning of those terms, even though they may be defined otherwise elsewhere. And for food nutrition programs, you'll see that it's used for feeding programs. It gives you used for terms. Not that these aren't good terms, but these are terms that may be substituted across databases. And now that you've identified your most important concepts, you can combine them using AND. And as you go through, you want to make sure that you aren't getting overwhelmed, so you want to look at the beginning of your results to see if they're relevant to your initial search strategy. Whereas in Navigator, we had 42 very specific results. In ProQuest, we had 1,300. So what are we getting with that? So we want to look at our search strategy to see if this is all relevant, and if there's a way between the two databases, we can narrow it to make it that much more precise. As I said, if they're too broad, you can narrow it in. And one of the things that Wayne pointed out is with the broadness of it, you can add in geographic regions to narrow it. So if you only want to focus on food nutrition programs in the United States, that might be something that you could add as a term in part of your search to help narrow it. And as you're going through to troubleshoot your search, you want to look at the results. You want to see what false drops you have, because sometimes if you put in, people have a tendency sometimes to truncate Colorado, the color. So see if you're picking up any false hits. You might be picking up a person's name as a, I haven't met anybody whose name is nutrition, but you want to make sure you can knock those out. The warning about not is, it's unforgiving. Once you knock out a specific phrase or term, you may have to go back to the step before your search that included not to bring those terms back in. And last but certainly not least, if you need some help along the way, we're here to help you. Just send us a question and we'll do our best to respond to you and come alongside to help you get the right information that you need. And if all else fails, these are our contact numbers. This is the NAL website, the DigiTop website, the DigiTop address. If you have a DigiTop question, digitop@usda.gov. Customer services, agraph question at libraryresearch.info. And a telephone number that we gave you earlier. We repeated it so that we want you to talk to us. Document delivery, contact information. If you have a question for document delivery, they are found at nal-docdel@ars.usda.gov. A link for our digital collections, naldc.nal.usda.gov, and the NAL thesaurus, http:// class.nal.usda.gov.
We didn't mention the digital collection but just a little bit, but that's just so you know we have a website where we're scanning a lot of the older USDA serial publications, and we have a lot of full text material there. It's older in nature, but it's still very useful. We still get a lot of requests for it, but we're scanning it and making it available online in PDF. So if you go to that website there, you can search, and there's still a lot of good relevant information that has been published, and that's we're scanning every day now. A lot of material, so it's getting bigger and bigger.
And our colleagues throughout USDA are submitting their current
current research is also being submitted. When it's being submitted to journals, it's also being put in here when we can, so you can access your work and other people's work.
We wanted to remember to include Newsbank. So with Newsbank, you can access world news,
and local news.
And local news. And USDA in the news. And what this does is wherever USDA appears in the newspapers, this pulls up. And it tells you not only where USDA is, but also where Secretary Vilsack is. But here, Access World News. And this is customizable where you see the shortcut. You can, when you log in, you can set it to show your shortcut. So here, if we were looking for, here's a good example, childhood obesity. Look at that. So we'll just do what we can do in the United States. So here you can expand this and come down to the United States, and you'll see we have 3,308 news sources. And if you really wanted to come to a specific location, you see what's happening in each of the states and Washington, as well as maybe a territory or two, U.S. outlying areas. But we're going to stay within the United States, so we'll limit our search there. And we are looking for childhood obesity in the United States. And it's going to take a few seconds because there you have it. On the left-hand side of your results screen, you'll see that the results are broken down by year, by location, by source, and by source type. So if you're looking for something in the year 2014, you can break it down that way.
You just click on that and it'll limit it to just that year.
And then you get a title that's hyperlinked to the full text of the article.
But what you're not getting a PDF of the actual newspaper. You're getting just the text. So the images aren't there. Well, you're just going to get the text, an HTML text of it.
So you get all of this. You have the option to save, email, or print. And occasionally, if there's a picture, the link will be down here, where right above the bookmark this article.
And a lot of people use this as it's really important with the alert, setting up alerts. So if you have a topic or something you're interested in, you can set this up as an alert on the right-hand corner. It will allow you to set up an email alert. So you develop your search strategy, and then on a daily or weekly basis, they'll email you the links to the articles that match your search. And a lot of people use this, they start tracking something like a particular disease, and it's interesting because they're kind of mining the data where it starts to show up in a particular area, and then they see it's spreading, and it's just a way you can really get creative, I think, searching newspapers. A lot of people kind of just poo-poo it, but we're finding more and more that people are utilizing this to find developing trends and things like that, and also people in the news and where people are talking, what they're reporting on, researching.
Mm-hmm. Because when you go back to the results, to really watch the trends under the year, these articles go back.
Yeah. You can see them. Yeah, you can see when a particular topic was hot.
Yes.
You can see what state or area in the U.S. or the world it was really important in. So it's interesting what you learn from searching the newspapers.
I'm curious. What was the article in 1982 on childhood obesity? Take a look. An early start in the fight. Philadelphia Inquirer. So you eat it. To me, this is a number of item of curiosity.
You track these kids down.
You can email, you can track it, and you can find out what's going on.
But it's easy to set up these alerts. It's just right up in the top right-hand corner. And you click on the link up there, and it'll walk you through the steps of setting up an alert.
Very, very basic to do. You just make sure that you create your account when you log in here, and it'll tell you, set up an alert. So having gotten there, and you have the option to edit your search if you're looking to make it better, so it retains it. You can search by the lead paragraph, which is good, or by the headline, or by, if you're looking for a specific reporter, you can search that way. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. If you would like for us to expand on any of the resources that we've mentioned to you, or as you go about using DigiTop, you discover something that was not included in this presentation, feel free to let us know. Thank you for your time and attention, and
good luck using DigiTop.